still patrolling the line and watching the quality of how things are going. And it's been great fun. It's also a lot of tedious work, and we're designing AC/DC is much more like making two separate games than one. It was a lot of work. Lyman Sheets, the programmer, is still working on software, and Bob's your uncle. I want to tell you guys a story. All right. Sorry. This cowboy was walking through the desert, and he came across an Indian. And he said, "Howdy." And the Indian said, "Howdy." And the cowboy says, "Mind if I talk to your dog?" And the Indian says, "Dog don't talk." So the cowboy turns to the dog and he says, "Hey dog, how's this guy treat you? Is he good to you?" And the dog goes, "Yeah, he's great to me. He feeds me twice a day. You know, I live in the teepee. I'm kept out of the rain. I'm comfortable." And the Indian's jaw kind of drops. The cowboy says, "You mind if I talk to your horse?" And the Indian says, "Horse no talk." The cowboy walks up to the horse and he says, "Hey horse, how does this Indian treat you?" And the horse said, "It's great. It's absolutely great. He keeps me out of the weather. I get fed, ridden, brushed. It's wonderful." The Indian's jaw drops again. The cowboy says, "Mind if I talk to your sheep?" And the Indian says, "Sheep lie." Enough of that. I like that joke. I don't tell bad jokes. Anyway, we had a lot of fun, and also a lot of trial and tribulation on AC/DC. In the beginning, they only wanted to give us 5 songs, and we wanted much more. And we set up our whole thought process to make a game that sounded better than any other pinball machine, and so we set out to re-engineer the system, and it was like surprisingly easy once we had a good engineer come in and look at the speaker resonance frequency and the cabinet volume, and he set up the test and actually told us, just by cutting the round hole and getting rid of all the cutout fins, like an old radio that used to have slots cut in the cabinet because it's cheap. He said, just by taking that out, you'll get 60% of the bass back. So that's what we did. And then we also had a pretty good breakthrough in working on the speakers in the back panel. We got a lot more overhead out of the amplifier. The amplifier would not have to work as hard, and it would be much cleaner if we hooked up the speakers in series and connected a 10 microfarad capacitor as a crossover network. And the result was magnificent. It was like the best sounding pinball machine that we had ever heard. And of course, for the LE, we've gone one more and put in a 12-inch speaker, again with a grill cloth. This stuff is boring, but I thought I'd tell you about it. Anyway, what I want to focus on is the fact that I wanted to make the best sounding pinball, and it does sound pretty damn good. It might be the best one I've ever heard, outside of some people that have done external amplifiers with big speakers and all that. Also, the music, we got a huge amount of memory to store 12 songs. And the 6-minute solo, Angus's solo is in there, and I don't even remember the name of the damn song. What song has 6-minute solo by Angus? Let There Be Rock. Okay, that's it. And we got a tremendous amount of space, enough so that we didn't have to compress the recorded music as much. And we also got a good break in that David Fields, the guy that engineered this for us, and we got a great break when we equalized all the tunes for the Pro in one state, and all the ones for the LE with the 12-inch separately. So it sounds great. We're very happy about that. The AC/DC people were wonderful to work with once we got past the 5-song thing, and it turns out that was really Sony's limitation. After a bit, they just sort of turned us loose. I explained what we wanted to do in the game, and they said, go ahead. And then it became very easy. And we got so much reference material, I couldn't receive it even by an FTP site. We all had to get hard drives because there's just tons and tons of stuff they gave us. Incredible reference material. John Yelsey worked on the art on the spread model, but we have a new No, that's not true. Yeah, that is true. Look, I've had 6 hours sleep in the last 72. I can't sleep on planes. And Gary Flowers dragging me around all around town. That's not real. We had a great time on every flight. Lyman loves the band, and that's important. Lyman Sheets, the programmer, is I'm pretty sure most of you know who Lyman is. He's one of the best players in the world. And he plays incredible code that rarely has any bugs. In fact, I haven't really seen him release any code or put it in the game room with a single bug. He fixes them all before he brings it out. It's incredible. There's a lot more coming, too. He's got some wizard features coming in Encore, I think it's called, and wow. We will also have the option soon to, right now when we play ACDC, it plays the tune from the beginning on each ball. You will have the option to set that up in the game, you play the song, and then on the second ball you can pick it up right where it left off. And I'm looking forward to that, but also I've gotten used to this, and it's kind of rewarding to have one song play and have to start over because everyone in the room knows you played a long ball when you get to the solo or beyond. Good fun. Wow. I'm kind of exhausted, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about any of my games. And maybe I should tell a story. I don't know. I'll tell you a pinball story. It's like, it really is a true story from a long time ago. We made a game called Black Knight, and it did very well, and we were promoting it. We went to England, and people put on a big show here. I forgot, it might have been Beast, I'm not sure. He was our, yeah, it was them. And then there was, then we would go to Players Fusion, I think it was called, in France. Okay, the French people went crazy. A guy named, well, I shouldn't say his name, I'll call him Francois. Okay, anyway, they rent an entire nightclub, and it's like, it has an outside cafe with 100 tables, it's huge, and there's glass doors that open up in a row, and they have a gigantic stage, and tons of, tables inside, and it's like a huge nightclub with, with lighting and everything, and sound, wow, so this was the premiere of Black Knight. We had this party and invited all his customers. And I would say there was about maybe 1,100 or 1,200 people there. This is when pinball made a lot of money. It was a much bigger business than it is now. So, they're very nice to us. We walk in and we're dressed in suits because that's what we did. And hors d'oeuvres come around, and finally Francois says, everybody sit down, and the lights go down, and this knight on a giant black horse, huge horse, comes riding out onto the stage, and all the people in the audience just start applauding. 1,300, 1,100, I don't know how many people, just a huge applause, and the horse went, and he let go of everything. And the deal is, first of all, fire hose diameter, splashy, stinky, steamy, all over. People were screaming and running away, and the other end. It's a big mess, and I mean, we just couldn't believe it happened, and Francois started crying. And he needed to be comforted by his boyfriend, and he was. And it was a big mess, and we all went outside, and it just smelled horrible in there. So they did clean it up, and they disinfected everything, and then they opened up the back doors, they let the air flow through, and we're all out in front, okay, out in the front section, smoking and drinking, whatever. They brought around more champagne, and then everybody starts laughing about it. So we go back in, it smells okay, and we unveiled a whole bunch of Black Knights, and I'll never forget, and I think you can see why. So, if you have any questions, you can relay them to Gary, and Gary's going to